Here's a quick overview of the player controls that will be available when you're watching videos. Now, as mentioned previously, some controls will only be available when certain player types are selected. And again, we can check our player type by going to your name at the top of the window and selecting Site Preferences. I currently have the HTML5 player selected, which gives you access to all the player features, so we'll leave that as is and go back to the table of contents for the course I was just watching. So I'll just play a few seconds of this. So in the bottom left of the window, you'll find the Play Pause button. You've already seen me play and pause movies several times using this button. To the right of that is the 10-second rewind button, which is useful when you want to jump back to review something the author has just said or demonstrated. If you want to jump forward or back to any other part of the video, simply click in the playback progress bar. You can also drag or scrub it left or right to move forwards or back in the movie. Notice that the time indicator reflects your position in the movie. Next, we have the two bookmarks buttons, which I'll cover in their own video shortly. The next control is the volume control, and there's really nothing exotic here. Simply drag up to increase the volume or drag down to decrease the volume. This volume control is independent of your computer's volume controls. So if you have the volume all the way up and it's still not loud enough for you, try turning your computer speakers up. Next, we have the speed control button. This feature lets you both increase or decrease the speed of playback. Try increasing the speed if you want to get through the movies more quickly. Contrarily, if you're having trouble comprehending what an instructor is saying, you can slow down the speed of playback. In some cases, this might help you better understand what's being said. Next, we have the button to toggle closed captioning on and off. And again, closed captioning has multiple purposes. First, it allows our members with hearing impairments to be able to follow along with our training. But closed captioning can also be convenient if you're in an environment where you can't listen to audio, or if you don't have headphones and you don't want to bother people around you. In those cases, you can simply turn off your computer's volume, turn on closed captioning, and you'll still be able to learn. This gear icon represents the player's settings. Here you can choose the video quality. If you have a high bandwidth connection, you can stream in HD at 720p. But if you're on a slower connection, try switching to one of the two lower settings so that the videos will load faster. You can also switch between the Flash and HTML player right from here without having to open the site preferences. The next button here reduces the size of the player window, which can make it easier to browse the table of contents while still being able to keep the video in view the entire time. Click the button again to return to the large player. The next button pops the player out into its own window. You can also drag the corner of the pop-out window to resize the video. This can be convenient if you have limited screen real estate and want to work along with the movie. You can try reducing the size of the movie and placing it in a corner so you can see other windows. Just close this window to return to using the embedded player. And this last control here is the Maximize button. Clicking that expands the movie to fit your entire screen. And at that point, the button becomes the Minimize button, which you can click to take the movie back to its default size. Finally, when you reach the end of the movie you're watching, the next movie in the table of contents will automatically start to play. So if I jump to the end of this movie and click the play button, you'll see the next movie will begin to play right away. Now, the reason the movies play back to back is because autoplay is on by default. This allows you to watch the course in its entirety without having to break your learning flow by scrolling back through the table of contents to bring up the next movie. Of course, you can turn autoplay off, and you're also free to jump around the course as much as you like, and clicking and watching the movies in any order you want. But just be aware that if you do want to watch the movies continuously in order and autoplay is on, you don't have to click anything when one movie ends to go immediately to the next one. You also have controls here in the upper left to jump to the previous and the next movie. So that's a quick overview of the basic playback controls.